Good to see you. Happy Tuesday, hopefully for all of you. It is a balmy 34 degrees here from Independence, so that's awesome. So I'm going to wait for everybody to come on, and then we'll get started. Looks like it just populated up on my TV, so at least I know I'm live. It's good stuff. Let's see. Alright, so we are going to be using our totally awesome stamp set that was released last month. And so it comes with these 1, 2, 3, 4 frogs. It's got some balloons and then all these different sentiments. And we're going to be using 3 of the frogs, and we're going to be playing along with, my favorite Craft Roulette. So, yeah, if you want to craft along with me, grab something, do something fun while we're on here. I totally get that, encourage it. But we're playing with Craft Roulette and totally awesome stamps. And then we are using our zipper card die. So we've got some fun parameters this week for Craft Roulette. And if you didn't know, I'm going to do, like my little plugins as I'm waiting for people to hop on. We are a sponsor for Craft Roulette for the entire month of February. So every week you can be one of the lucky winners if you are in the chatter box on YouTube on Friday nights. Hi Justine, hi Sandy. And you could win a $25 gift card from us. But that would be, Craft Roulette's going to be the one that draws that, not me. So talk to them. But anyway, we are, as normal, per my usual, we are going to do some Copic coloring. And y'all, I don't know if you remember, some of you do, some of you may or may not know, but frogs are my favorite animal of all time. So we're going to do that, and we're going to at least do 2 of them in my favorite Copic colors. Anyway, I still have sourdough underneath my fingernails. Oh my goodness, you can't take me anywhere. Alright, so everybody, you're going to have to remind me. The card challenge this week was a pull down or something down. So that's where we're going to use the zipper card. So we're going to make an interactive card, and we're going to pull the zipper down to reveal a gift card. And we're going to talk about how to do that, because I've had a lot of people at shows ask me how to use the zipper die for other things than just a zipper. So we're going to do that. And then the colors were Mahjong. So when you look that up, it's like a red, it's royal blues, blacks, golds. Some people use pinks and greens. We're going to go with the reds, the greens, the blacks, and golds today. So I did already make my card base, and you can tell I've already got glue on it, but it's all going to be covered. So I used the gilded gold from our paper pack we have for sale, and that's just on a top folding A2 card. And then we're gonna what was the other one? So we're gonna have a card that opens from the top. So I guess technically, we could do it this way and then make it open from the top, and that would fall down. We could totally break all the rules. We might do that because I'm in that mood. So, and then we've got a frog that's going to be hanging from the top, and we have to draw in borders. What am I forgetting? Something like card. It's in the description box, you guys. You heard what I did there. Totally awesome. Okay. All right. So let's get coloring. So if I seem more off than my usual, it has been a very rough. It's been a rough month, but it's been a very rough couple days here in my house. So right at the end of last year, I lost my best friend of 27 years, which was enough to take my breath away. Didn't know how to even comprehend that. And then I've had help her son figure some stuff out, and we're trying to navigate those things. And he's also has a son that lives with lived with them. So we've been kind of like working with the school and trying to do stuff. And then we've had this crazy weather, and anybody that's been around me for like more than 5 minutes knows that I, have that seasonal depression sometimes and don't do so well in the winter. And then very, very unexpectedly, our husky Jay passed away, and it was not on our radar. He wasn't sick. Honestly, we don't really know what happened. So, we my husband tried to bury him in 60 inches of snow, and that didn't work out. So we had to go the alternative route. And so we took him to be cremated yesterday, and our house has a big void in it. So yeah, if I don't see him, like, I know that I usually come on here and I try to act excited about all the things, but we're just hanging on today, and I'm just being fair. Hi Jason, how are you? And then we've got Jason going wild and hand-drawn board. Thank you. So my going wild are these crazy frogs. I knew somebody would get me. Thank you, Jason. So anyway, see, now I'm happy again. So anyway, we're going to start talking about the Copics because it'll keep me from getting emotional. So I am doing what I call an underpainting. So I'm using this YG01, and it's a fluorescent green. And if you don't know, that this green combination is absolutely my favorite of all time. But in real life, YG01 would probably be my favorite color. I love me a good lime green, to the point that it's kind of sickening. That I love it so much. But, we all have our things, and I know that Sandy, that's on here from our design team tonight, she's a lime green girl, and her and I both have the love of dogs, and we have a lot in common, so she's going to kind of understand this card and all the things, all the feels today. But yeah, so one thing I talk a lot about, and it's because I found out the hard way, was that Copic marker maintenance is very important. 90% of the reason why your markers don't work the way you want them to is because you're not taking care of them. In reality, this nib probably is ready to be replaced because it's getting a little bit wobbly. But if you keep your markers clean, then you're not going to have all that resin from the pigments build up, so you don't get that nastiness. And also, you want to make sure you're not unscrewing your caps. You want to pull them off, because twisting them will actually make them crack, and then your barrels crack, and then you get a dry marker. But you would be absolutely stunned if you knew, refilling your markers, keeping them at the correct weight, and keeping your barrels clean, what that will do for your coloring. And that would be true with any alcohol marker. But it's just some of the misconceptions that I hear out there about Copics, that they're not the same quality. And there was a time period that there were some questionable, a couple year, a 2-year period where there were some quality control issues, but those have been fixed, and I just want to put that out there. So in the middle of me learning my hard lesson about marker maintenance, I was at a retreat, and it took us 3 days to clean my markers. So do you see how that's really gross there? That really should all be cleaned off. So sometimes, do as I say, not as I do. How did I start crafting is what Jason wants to know. It started when my girls were little, and I started scrapbooking with creative memories, and I did all the sticker stuff. I never knew what a stamp was. I didn't know what I didn't know what a die was. I didn't know anything. I just did like ephemera and stickers. And then their senior year, this is something that I guess took me by surprise. I mean, I don't know. You always learn, like with your oldest one, that you don't get your senior yearbook until the next year. So your friends aren't going to sign it and that kind of stuff. So I did a mad dash to make them like basically a yearbook, and I did it in 10 days. And then, wow, from there I didn't scrapbook for several years. And then I was invited, like all of us, to one of the stampin' parties, and I got hooked and very quickly became part of the cult. And then after that, I went to my very first stamping show in Cincinnati, which, if you don't know, Jason, is our hometown. And from there, I learned that there were like 1,000 other companies, and I like drank the Kool-Aid 100%. And started stamping. I had never colored, and this is really funny because I'm sitting here talking about Copics. I swore that I would never pay the money for a Copic marker. And I was taking a class from my friend Jamie, and she was going on about these markers, and I'm like, nope, not going to do it because of the price. And if you're like me, any of you out there, and you have whole set syndrome, you know that you've got to have them all. You can't just, have like a 75 or 100 of them. You have to have all 358. So I bought 4 to 6, and then, of course, I had to have them because they're amazing. And they change everything. So I've spent a lot of money to learn how to color. Good to see you. Happy Tuesday. What is going on with my phone? That's funny when my phone decided to turn on to my channel. Ha! My phone does the wildest things. Anyway, lives. I should never be allowed out in the public. But yeah, so I spent a lot of money to learn how to color, because if I was going to spend a lot of money to buy the markers, I was going to learn how to use them. And I colored almost every day for 4 or 5 years, and I screwed up a lot. And this is one thing I'm going to tell everybody. Hi, Mayhem, Tara. One thing I am going to say, if you are going to learn how to use your markers and that kind of thing, is really like take pictures of yourself, whether you're an Instagram, YouTuber, or whatever, or if you're just the average person that's coloring to make themselves happy, take pictures of it so that way you can see your very first coloring and they go, oh, wow, I've like if you guys saw my very first coloring, which again would have been with Spectrum Noir, you would have thought that I was like a kindergartner, could have done better than me. So, just, I guess what I'm saying is, keep track of your progress so you know, we're never too old to learn, and we're never too old to do whatever. I mean, this is like my second time out of the gate doing something new, and new careers and people and all those things. So just play, learn your mediums, and that kind of thing. So that was a very long answer, Jason. So Jason's asking Justine what's for dinner. Here at my house, there's steak on the grill, and there's rice. I think I smell like some sort of buttery rice cooking downstairs. I am one of those very blessed people who have a husband that does the cooking. So, and I have exciting news. I am going to New York on Thursday, and I couldn't be more excited, and I got some really epic news. I keep waiting for her to pop on because I'm not going to spill somebody else's news, but I'm just going to say that we're going to a very, very exclusive little party that we just found out about, and I'm so stoked. I mean, with the, face it, we needed some good news around here, and it was happy tears. So it's been a good day. Been a trying day a little bit. So everywhere usually I'm kind of extending my dark colors. And I had mentioned that I'm kind of going back to the card for a minute, that I'm using that lime green as my underpainting, and that's because I'm kind of putting my highlight in first. And you guys know that I always do darkest to light, but I really want that fluorescent to pop through. So I always kind of did that YG01 because I'm using this YG67 as my scary dark, and that's almost like has like a lot of gray and a lot of blue in it. So it's really completely opposite on the scale of a YG01. So 01 would be almost like the lightest color in the group, and then a 67 is the darkest of the mid-tone color. So we're going like from the brightest bright to almost the darkest dark, but by doing that you're going to make your colors pop. So that's kind of what I'm trying to achieve here with my coloring. And I'm kind of like putting in like a little something there to give him a little bit of a lip. And I'm kind of giving him a little bit of a rounded belly. Let's see. And I completely forgot to put the scary dark in on this leg because I'm talking and just being me, man. Just being me. So without fail, my dogs were downstairs sleeping, and all was good with the world. And as soon as I hit start, boom, that door was wide open. And then Gracie, and again, if you've been around here for like 5 minutes, y'all know that I've got this white cockatoo, and she screams, "Mom, Mom," the entire time. And as soon as Sean went outside to flip the steaks on the grill, she started screaming, "Mom, Mom." So it's never a dull moment in this house. It's been a sad moment in this house, I'm not going to lie, but never dull. So this afternoon, all right, tell me in the comments. Tell me in the comments if you guys got snow today or if it's starting to warm up. I'm just curious because my boots that are stuck somewhere in California, ironically, instead of here when I paid for 1 day shipping. But that's first world problems. Anyway, we were supposed to get 0.1 inches, and I think we got like 2 in the last, hour or so. So it has gotten a little bit dicier, but it was a balmy 34 degrees, and I almost didn't wear my coat today when I went out because it almost felt like it was a heat wave, because it's been, in the negatives here. We've had about 16 inches of snow this entire time, and then we just got a couple more. All right, so Tara's saying that she tried Copics and they didn't fit her hands right, but she's had good luck with Altenew. Altenew has a really good marker, and I think those are a really good choice. I was on a forum today where people were asking like the difference between like the Copic Classics, the Chow, and the Sketch. And for me, I had some Chow, and they're like the skinny. Let's see if I have one somewhere. Yeah. So this is what the Chow is. So they literally have the same nib as the Sketch. The only difference is you're getting a little bit more than half of this marker as far as the volume goes in here. But these because of my issues with my hands, these were really uncomfortable for me. These were too small. But Tara, I have had some of the Alts New, and I like how wide they are. They're a really good barrel, so I can see why those would help and feel comfortable in your hand. I'm on board with that statement, 100%. And I also like that with Alts New, that you can use their alcohol, like what they use for alcohol inks. They're also their refills for their markers, so it's like a twofer. And if you didn't know, just because I'm saying all the things today, because I'm trying not to have quiet, you can use Copic refills as alcohol inks, like to do your backgrounds and stuff. In my opinion, it's kind of on the expensive side, but you know what? People would say that I was nuts for going to New York for 2 days or 3. Well, I guess it's 3, but with airport time and stuff, it's 3. But for the spur of the moment, in the middle of winter and all that craziness. So, I always just say you do you and whatever. But for me, I'm going to stick with what we traditionally know as our alcohol inks, like by Tim Holtz and stuff, for my backgrounds. But you can definitely use that. I've used them like with an airbrush machine. That's really fun. See, am I missing anything? It was a balmy 23 degrees, is what Tara's saying. Jason is saying it's warm up here in Nebraska. Kind of jealous. Angie made hamburger casserole. Oh, love me some hamburger casserole. So my friend that I was talking about a little bit ago, she used to make hamburger soup. And it literally would taste like, I think she really did put even ketchup in it and even some mustard. Don't ask me, because the idea of it just sounds disgusting. But you would bite into it and it was like the cheesiest hamburger soup you'd ever want to eat. And so you just brought up a good memory, because I remember making that with her for the first time. And I made fun of her. Don't get me wrong, but then I ate it. So a foodie's always gonna try it. And I'm like, guys, I'm a foodie. If you didn't know, I'm a foodie. Like, I'm there for it. Like, I'm never gonna pass up the opportunity. Well, yeah, I am. You're not gonna get me to eat liver. You're not gonna get me to eat escargot. What else? Yeah, liver. Any type of waste organ. You're not gonna get me to eat. But that's because I know what goes through them. So that's a weird little thought. Sorry, not sorry. So do you see how, like, the little hints of that fluorescent green's kind of popping through and kind of making him look like he's kind of see-through? And so I'm going to tell you what my inspiration was for this card. Did you see everybody, like in Texas, Florida, the southern states, where the iguanas were dropping out of the trees? Well, that's what it made me with this being a drop-down card. Literally, that's what that made me think of, was these frogs falling out of the trees. Even though we're not going to make a tree today, we could have. Would have been cute, but gotta do something different. I am going to come back in with this YG01 just to brighten it up just a hair. But the falling iguanas were my inspiration, and I love them. Keep them coming. So I don't know if you guys have tree frogs where you're from, but we do here in Kentucky, and we have a woods behind our house, and the frogs like they'll come out like that one February day when it's really warm, and then they don't make it back to where they're supposed to be, and you'll like see them frozen in the grass or in the mud, and that's a real thing. So several years ago, I actually had pet frogs because they somehow or other made it into the inside of my house, like through the cracks of the door, and they were like stuck to the wall, and I had to keep them. I loved them, and they would sing to me, and I loved having my frogs. Like they were hands down the best. All right, we are going to go with a bright red lip, or I'm sorry, inside of the mouth. So last week, if you were on here, I told you that like normally for the inside of a mouth, I do like an EO4, like if it's a human mouth, and then like an R21 for the tongue, so it's nice and bright. But my frogs had bright red mouths. Like you could literally see like the veins and stuff. Like it was so cool. So and we're keeping on track with the Mahjong colors. So another fun fact about Mahjong is that there are tiles. Like they do, like it's like the colors and it's got the tiles and stuff. We're not doing tiles. I can only do so much. But I wanted you to, if you want to look it up, or somebody wants to put in the chat what Mahjong is, then you'll at least see kind of like that I'm not 100% crazy. So this was an R35, and the reason I did an R35 instead of like the 20 family is because I'm going to use the 20 family to do his tongue, so I wanted there to be enough contrast, okay? But I wanted to think like Valentine's Day red. So this kind of has a little bit of a coral undertone, but actually it's called coral. So when I say it has a coral undertone, it legit does. But we are going to darken it up just a hair. But do you see do you know why the green and red, why they work so well together? If you guys can't tell, I get really jazzed about this. It's because they are opposite on the color wheel. So like that's why Christmas colors are so amazing. Alright, so Jason, so Jem Stark, welcome. And Jason's saying, a minor league baseball team in Florida will have the frozen iguanas as a mascot for a night. Love it. Love it. I know I paid for that shirt, so I should have you pick one up for me. And then I'll obviously pay you. But, so we're taking an R37. So I am all about the scary dark. So, you really could go in with an R39. And I'm just going like around like where the tongue or where the lip is overhanging the most. It's down here. Actually, I'm gonna lie a little bit. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Down there, I probably would put an R39 underneath that tongue, but we're not. Okay. So we're not doing really hard coloring. We're not doing anything really super hard tonight. Let's get out the R. We're going to use an R11. I'm waiting for someone to say, how do you pick your colors? I'm going to be like, I don't know. We're going to use an R11 as our lightest. And now, again, I always say that I start my darkest to my lightest. But when you have such small spaces like this, like sometimes it's hard to get everything in there. So we're going to start with the lightest, and then we're going to come in with the dark. I cannot believe I have sourdough all over my fingernails. I look like a crazy loon. You guys get me without the makeup on. You get me in a camouflage shirt that's like 10 times too big. You probably can't see that. And then you also get flat sourdough fingernails. So if you guys didn't know, back in November I started my sourdough journey. And like every other sourdough freak, I've gone off the rails and I have like more starters than I know what to do with. And what I find out is it is like the most therapeutic process. It's kind of like what coloring was for me in the beginning. That's how sourdough is. Like it's the most, how do I want to say? It is the most frustrating but most rewarding process ever. And once you get it, you get it. But until you don't, until you like until you finally understand it. Oh my, it's a mess. So I'm only putting in like dabs of this color. So that's the one thing about alcohol markers, or you want the contrast of the light and the dark to make it look like it's a three-dimensional item. So the key is, like, I left a really harsh line there, but it's kind of throughout. So you have this idea that he's a frog in motion. He's hopping. He's, you know, or in this case, they're falling. They're free falling. Oh my God! I just had a song just popped into my head. Thank God I can't sing because I'm already. Can y'all hear it? I'm aging myself right now. But I'm just kind of like dabbing that in, and we're gonna leave it alone. So we are going to make his eyes like a nice golden color. And we don't have a lot of room to work with, let's be honest. But we're going to do it. Because it's fun. Alright. Because any frog I've ever seen, like, you know, has colored eyes, not these white things. And I've seen quite a few frogs. In fact, you know what? Probably kissed a few in my life. So that's YR24. And I know you're saying, like, there should be, like, the whites of the eyes. I know, guys. This is my card. If you don't like it, buy the stamp. You can color it however you want. Let's see. Linda Corbin, nice to see you. Yes, Tom Petty it is. Tom Petty for the win. We are free falling. So I'm taking E23, which is very close to that YR24, and I'm kind of dotting it in. Now, to make the eyes pop, you can take a Copic marker, but again, depending on how big the eyes are, you might end up with a big blobby mess. So I'm taking my Copic multi-liner, and I'm just going to color that in. So we're going to make it look darker than the ink made it. Do you know how hard, I mean, I've got glasses on, but do you know how hard this is actually to see this and like keep my head out of the frame? And I'm so bad at it. Oh, I'll finally figure this YouTube and stuff out. Like I'll figure out YouTube once YouTube is no longer a thing. So don't hold your breath. All right. What's next? Now that we've done all the coloring, and he's amazing, we are going to use Simon Hurley's Clear Skies. I'm hoping that it's still juicy. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's find out together. If not, we'll grab one of my other 400 inks and we'll play with it. Clearly, I need to glue that on. Alright, it'll work. Alright. So don't lose my clip. Friends, on these little clippy clips that you get from all the Etsy stores and 3D printer people, I always take a little bit of super glue and glue that right on there. Justine is saying hello to Linda. Alright. We are using my all-time favorite stencil. You guys ready? Alright, so I'm gonna, oh, look! There's a colored funny bunny. Hasn't made it to a card. So I love this stencil, the Cloud Edger die from, It's a Colorful Life. And I've been asked several times, like, why don't you make one? And because I think when you find somebody who does something really, really well, you should just let them have it. So I am not going to perfect it. I'm not even going to try to perfect it. I'm just going to say I really love it. See how perfect that is. Now, I normally would use like a Distress Oxide. But in case I want to go over it with my Copics, I'm using a dye ink. So any dye ink would work. Do you like where my thumb holes are? Special. You guys are watching the Hot Mess Express today. But this is real world. You're getting it very raw. But I showed up. I showed up when it wasn't easy to show up. So I am kind of going over my frogs, but I'm going over light enough that I don't think anybody's going to notice, and we're going to have enough stuff going on. Okay? And I am rotating this stencil so that these clouds are all different, like, shapes and sizes and fluffy, and I don't know. All you guys can look up the names of all the different kinds of clouds. I'm not a meteorologist today. I don't know. Probably if I wasn't live, I could tell you all the names of the clouds. Liv is agreeing that it's one of her most favorite stencils ever. So this is a true fact. I love this so many times. I have lost it in my craft room, I think, at least 3 times. And I have rebought it twice. And now I have 3 of them floating around. Oh my god, you guys, my fingernails are killing me. Okay, I think we're going to do one more. Now, I'm going to cut off a lot of this, so, you know, I don't know how much of this bottom is going to be left, but, again, you do you, I'm going to do me. Being authentic and real is a good thing. Well, you know what? You're only who I am at a show, who I am on YouTube, who I am sitting across from you at a dinner table, and who I am when nobody's watching. I am who I am. Like, what you see is what you get. So, you just cut it. So, she said that Jem Stark, she said that she purchased that stencil. It's a classic. It's been around, I don't know for how long, but to me, it's a classic, and we are sticking with it. All right. So we're going to watch this process, and the Hot Mess Express is going to come out, and you need to know I don't have a gift card. So we're going to use my library card. We're going to all pretend that it's fine, because it is. It is. So this is the zipper die, and you're not going to see me die cut it on camera. In fact, you're going to just get a nice view of what you expect there. And if I decide to throw anything back there behind me, because you know I do that, you need to remind me that there's a candle burning. Just saying. Because I get all into it and whatever. So I did this last week where I used an advertisement from one of the shows. So we are going to place this gift card with tape, and you notice I kind of like blocked out. I mean, if y'all want to know my information, you're all going to find it anyway. But I am placing foam tape. I got one in a long sliver, so it'd be on this side. I put one here as a stopper, and then obviously this to keep it from sagging, because who likes a saggy card? I almost said something really bad, so good thing I shut up. All right, so we're going to use them. We're going to spit shine this a little bit, and I'm not, you get what you get today. So we just cleaned up our gilded. So what I like about this gilded is that it's kind of like a, it's still mirror, but it's almost like a gunmetal or like a hammered finish, and it's got like a craft backside. But because I'm thrifty, I have it on a white card. So we could, like I said, we could just have this fall forward. Should we do that, you guys? Yay, Marianne! Let it out. Tell everybody. Now her husband knows, so. Oh my God. Freaking amazing. So, for all of you who don't know, Mary called the only person that she knew that was nuts enough to book a plane to New York in the middle of a snowstorm. She hadn't even finished the words, and I was already like on Expedia, like booking a flight, okay? And we were going to the Chocolate Tony, Bellatoni, I don't know, something Tony event. And we're going to eat a lot of chocolate, and then we're going to go see one of her favorite artists and put it out there. Okay, so Marianne, because she's amazing at all things social media, she's been commenting like a crazy person, and she's been like funny, and she's like been creative and whatever. So she got into this group, like an exclusive little group that everybody was keeping hush hush. She was one out of 533 people that was chosen to go to the VIP event the night before. And guess what? I get to go with her. It's the best news I've had in a month. So we're gonna wear our red Valentine sweaters, and we are gonna party like it was 1999. Oh my goodness, I'm probably gonna get dinged on YouTube for all my little music references tonight, but honest to God, you guys, we are going to the VIP. We're gonna, I can't wait for the swag. And you know that we're gonna be taking pictures, and we've got like heated coats and heated gloves, heated everything, and we're gonna be doing it. But now we have to go out and like buy new outfits for this red event. And we have to go get our nails done because some of us still have sourdough underneath their nails, and it's all good. But Mary won, yay! You bought a red satin headband. Now do I have to go out and buy a headband now? Can I pull off? I don't know, since I chopped like so many inches off of my hair, I don't know if I can pull that off. But you can do it. All right, so now that I've acted like a fool, let's do the scary thing. So everybody's going to have to talk to each other once I stand up and die cut this. All right. So I didn't put in any of my highlights, any of my accents. I didn't do anything. So I'm going to position this zipper, can you guys believe it, like right over the frog that I just spent all this time coloring. That's some scary stuff. And I am using Best Ever Craft tape just because it's low tack, so any washi, anything that you have would work. I'm still kind of putting it like down on my lap there. Going to step away. All right, Jason, it was so good to have you here. Thank you for dealing with my craziness. So we're going to die cut this, and I'll be right back. So what this does, and I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see it more as you watch me befuddle everything. Alright, sorry for the seasickness, but what this does is it perforates, okay? So we're going to be very gentle, and I peel the tape like back onto itself so it doesn't rip the paper. That's just a trick, whether it's painter's tape, washi, whatever. But the real key is, you know, kind of to get rid of some of the tackiness, like to touch it to your clothing or your dog, whatever. I'm kidding, don't do that. And I think I'm actually ripping this, okay? Let me use my little tool here. So if it starts to rip one way, you go the opposite way, and then it, like, keeps it from tearing. Putting the glasses back on. Do you see? So right now, that's just a chance for embellishment right there, you guys. There we go. There. Alright, so you see how that's perforated, but it didn't cut through. So now we're going to do the scary thing. We're going to start cutting this down a little bit because I still have to stop grading. So I am going to take just a hair off of the top. Just a hair. And I'm going to take this down. I'm not brave yet. So that would make it 4. Okay. I did it. Did it. Because you guys know I like a wide border. This is so scary. We're not going to quite do 5 1/4. We're going to do 5 1/8, and then we're going to do whatever is an 1/8 before 7/8. We're chopping them. Oh, that was scary. Okay. I get just as nervous as you guys do, for reals, when I'm making my cards. So again, we're getting my library card out, and we're going to position. Oh, see, we didn't leave a lot of room for tape for the thing. So that's why I think it's really good to tape your card. Okay. All right. Okay, here's the piece that I cut like in half long ways. Okay, where's my scissors? Y'all, I cannot wait to get on that airplane. And if you had asked me that 2 days ago, I was having all kinds of doubts, and then I got that call from Mary, and like, oh my, we are going to have a blast. So, we are going to Rockefeller Center, and we're doing this VIP, and just so you know, we're not really VIP people, but I mean, we're pretending to be this time. At least I'm not. Mary, she's VIP in my mind. But anyway, we are going to do the beam experience if we can tolerate the cold, and that's where you're on the 69th floor and you're out on a beam. It's got seat belts, so the 2 people who have no depth perception are going to step out onto this beam, and we're gonna circle around the Rockefeller at sunset, and we're gonna freeze, and we are gonna have the time of our life. So there's that. So I am removing that, and if I have my glue dots, I had glue dots. I do have glue dots. I'm going to put a temporary glue dot there because we're going to be like, you know, snazzy. Just like if we were buying it from a store. Being all snazzy about it. Where did the black paper go? Is anybody else having a good time? Because I am. Oh, look. I knew I already had a card base here. Get me, I'm a mess. So before I peel the things away, I want okay. I just want to make sure it's going to mat the way I want it to mat. Oh, it's tight. She's tight. Let's see where we're at on this. You know I like I like a black border. Killing me. All right, let's cut it. Let's cut a new one. So this is our coal cardstock, and I know you're all saying this is black paper, but if you ask Justine, it's not just black paper. It's really good for hot foiling. And it's 100 pound. And I'm not gonna lie, it feels thicker than 100 pound, but it's 100 pound paper, and it foils. I'm gonna actually dare to say it. It foils better than any of the papers on the market. And I'm gonna say it. And I'm probably, you can ask Justine, because that girl sells this paper like crazy. Okay. We are pivoting, as Sandy said. Alright. So we're going to have a thin little gold border. So we're going to get a regular art glue out. Y'all know that I do plenty of liquid glue. Alright, okay. Quick question. Are we falling forward? Like, are we going downwards, or are we doing it upside down on purpose? I mean, you know what? I'm gonna do it the right way, because it's probably gonna be a display for the booth, and people are gonna look at me like, why is this upside down? Then they'll think I don't know how to make a card. I mean, Mary, is your eye twitching yet? Because it's not straight, because mine is. Okay. So I am going to cheat just a hair. And I'm going to tape this with the Best Ever again. Right up to the top. And I left the little tag kind of hanging out. So now we're going to pull all the releases back. Because we want to be able to remove that tape somehow, so that the recipient doesn't see it, but that the card's in the right spot. Now, if you're like way, more engineering inclined than I am, then you would totally be able to put that card right there and be fine. But I'm just not that good. And I already can hear people say, why didn't you lay it down first and let that glue dot stick? Because I just thought of it. If this girl ever had a plan, she would have already thought of that. But anyway, I didn't do that. I didn't do the sentiment. Okay. Here she goes. I feel like I get a one-time chance. And I may have made it. Folks. And I used that little glue so I could do it. Now, isn't she beautiful? Come on. So, because I do everything backwards, we're just going to continue being me. Now, one thing that's driving me wacko is that spot that I totally put a jewel on. But I have got to erase it. It's actually tape. It wasn't, I didn't tear it. So, okay, so we're all going to gasp when I do this, and it's fine. I do this at least every time. So Dad, I think you heard that the reason I didn't do it that way was it was going to become a sample in the booth, but I should have done it as falling forward. Where's my Misty without the thing or bobber in it? Is everybody yelling, there's a candle lit? Remember I told y'all to remind me. How many Misties does one girl need? I don't know, I need quite a few. Yes, I know it's cracked, but it doesn't change its effectiveness. And since I already have like the foam tape and all the things done, that is why we're using the Misty without the bumper pad in it. So mine has a sticky pad in it. That's why I got another one else, because I didn't want to try to remove the photopolymer. Do you like him, Linda? As many Misties as you want. You're a girl after my own heart. I love it. Look. Oh. Now, we did not get a perfect stamping. One, because it's a brand new stamp. It has the manufacturing stuff on it. But also because we've got that die cut line there. So it's perforated. Alright. So far, I have only met the hanging down. And we're also pulling down. We've made an interactive card. We've done the Mahjong colors. I am going to snip this. So I normally snip this little section right here. That way your recipient knows that they can pull it. Okay? We have to do a hand-drawn border. Y'all, that freaks me out. Just gonna tell you, it freaks me out. Hi, Annie. Nice to see you, my friend. Alright, so here we go. Look at me. I'm hesitating drawing a line. This is why I'm not an artist. And yes, we're gonna do more than just that, but... Okay. Oh. Look at that, I'm trying to be fancy. I'm not doing a very good job of it, but it's my card again. You can do yours the way you want to. I'm just trying to meet the parameters and make it make sense. Now we're going to put like some faux stitches in there. Maybe a stitch here. Alright, since I don't sew, that's what we're doing. And we're going to bring in my white pen, and we're going to go crazy with some highlights. So this is the Copic Acrea that I just recently learned about, and I've told you guys about, and I highly recommend it. So I'm just brightening up those eyes. I'm going to maybe put a little bit of glistening on the uvula there, and I'm going to give his little knee a little shiny, shiny poo. I don't know, just whatever. And I'm going to make his little eye have some sparkle. And I feel like his little belly needs like a little peep, peep, peep. And maybe we'll do another one here. And maybe there. Alright, you guys ready? You should have yelled at me. You love some sketch lines. Tiffany, I am horrible at them, but I do too. You ready for the scary part, the reveal part? You ready for the pull down? If my fingers work. Look at that. So that is how you have a gift card holder. What do you think? So depending on how much your recipient wants to pull it apart, you're either going to lose that frog or not. But I mean, to me, this card makes me want to jump for joy, no pun intended. Yay! So that's that, and I didn't make it a fold down from the top. It totally would have been hilarious to do that, but I wouldn't have been able to make it make sense at a show. But so I think we've met all of them. We've got Go Wild, we've got 3 Crazy Frogs, we've got the Mahjong colors of the red, the gold, and the green, and the blue. We've got the hand-drawn stuff, and we've got the pull-down elements. So that is my take on Craft Roulette. My team did some very amazing things with the parameters. I am not that creative when I'm on live. I mean, I'm lucky that I can talk and do all the things at the same time. So this is it. Now the only way we could have made it more interactive, because I see Justine, she totally would have die cut this piece out and she would have had him like on a wobbler, and he'd be cute on a wobbler. Did I nail the CR? So Tara did birds. Yay! I did see that. Justine did frogs. Who else did frogs? I don't know. So we've had a little bit of a show up this Craft Roulette. Do we need some bling? We always need some bling. I was gonna say let's do that. Why not? Let's see what kind of crazy we can get into. We are going to use, it's a celebration. Or is it Girls Night Out? I don't know. We sell these, you guys. Somebody, I'll correct it. I'll put it in the description box for the replay. But we're going to use the gold because we're going to stick with the Mahjong elements. So we're going to put some of our trusty little tools down. And we're going to put one there. There. And since my glue did it for me, we're just going to put the... Okay, now that I had a weird spot on it. Alright, let's re-glue that now that the mess. You know, I always like a jumpity jump look. So, beep. There we did. I did a different sound. Yay! Y'all know what sound I was trying not to make. Oh, I like the black on there. I should have gone with black. Always the woulda, shoulda, couldas in card making. Alright, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I do need another one. Because you know I'm going to do the odd cards. They're numbers. There. I don't know why I put it there. It probably doesn't make any design sense at all, but we're doing it. There we go. So now that I've made a complete full out of myself, and you guys got to see everything not to do, now you can make your own and make it as special and as fancy as you want it to be. But yay! Alright, so Justine, who is my all-time cheerleader and reminder of all the things, she is telling me to remind y'all to like and subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. We are definitely trying to grow our channel. We've got a great design team, video team that brings content 3 days a week. And then you have me when I'm not acting a fool, coming on here to do lives. I would like to commit to doing long form video that I'm doing, but it's just, I don't think it's going to happen. But I do want to commit to being on more lives and being silly, and Craft Roulette kind of makes me want to do it. So, and when I say that, it's because it makes me think of things that I normally would not do myself. So, yeah. So Justine's like, hee, share to a crafty friend too. So you can always repost my video to your channels if you like what I'm doing or whatever. But this will be here for all posterity reasons for y'all to make fun of me for the rest of my life, or until YouTube disappears, which who knows in this day and age what's gonna happen first. But I love these guys. So with that being said, I almost canceled my live, and if Justine hadn't shared the link, I probably would have. And I was like, darn her. And my original intent last week was to do the frogs, and then I was going to change it up and do a husky instead from our dog days this summer. I didn't think I'd get through the video because I was having a hard time getting through the day today. So we stuck with the frogs because frogs always, they make me smile. They bring back a lot of memories of my childhood, and actually from when Sean and I first met, because like I said, we had some frogs that broke into our house. A lot of animals that break into our house. We have a cat that broke into our house, and he's never left. So like, if y'all ever want to be entertained, look up, Google. I have a cat, but I don't have a cat, or I don't have a cat and I have a cat. I don't know. But there are so many stories of people who say they don't have a cat, but they have a cat. And you will just die laughing. And that is like, someday I will share the story of Hunter, because Hunter totally broke into my house, and it was amazingly crazy. So, alright, crafting is good for the soul. Hi, Carrie, nice to see you. Carrie did frogs that were pretty darn amazing. So, I think, Glennon? I'm getting it all confused, you guys, but we are at the end of the video playing with Craft Roulette, my rendition. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening to me ramble and being a little bit of my therapy. Card making has always been my therapy, but you guys definitely were my therapy. So you can, I should say send me a bill, but somebody literally will send me a bill. So don't send me a bill because I'm not paying it. So that's my disclosure. So I'm going to go eat that steak and rice that's cooking downstairs. I'm going to go hang out with my hubs before bedtime. Alright, you guys have a good night. Be blessed. And I will see you next week, and I'll tell you about all the shenanigans of New York next Tuesday evening. Good night.